Are you a brewhead? I'm a brewhead. Are you a brewhead? I'm a brewhead. Y'all are brewheads? Yeah, we brewheads. So pour a glass of craft beer, we can do this. Yeah.
What's good, y'all? This is C-Certified Brewhead, and welcome to episode 205 of Beer and Other Shit, the podcast Adjunct series. Folks, we're doing something fun tonight. We're doing something we haven't really discussed before, and that is alternative energy in beer. And there's one brewery here in Ontario, and I don't even know if I'd never heard of this anywhere else. So I'm fascinated to get into how all of this works. I don't know if anyone else is even testing anything like this, at least at the level that these wonderful folks are doing. So I remember seeing these guys open a few years back and just being like, that's a pretty sick concept. So we're really going to be diving into 4 beers that were all brewed on site using strictly solar power, which I think is fucking awesome. It's very, very fun. So I'm just going to get right into it, folks. So I'm going to try and do this as smooth as possible. I know every time I say that, but I never do. Here we go. All right. Whoopsie. There we go. Folks, please welcome Phil and Mitch of ArBrū in the building. There we are, boys. Gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Pleasure to be here.
Great. We could make this happen. Like I was saying, I remember seeing you guys. When did you guys open? It was a few years back, right? Like 3 years?
Well, 2022. We're celebrating 3 years this upcoming Saturday, actually.
Oh, great timing. Amazing. So we'll definitely get into that whole story, but that's very cool that, you're doing something so unique and it's been thriving for about to be 3 years. So congrats on the upcoming anniversary. And we are about to start with this little gem right here. And in these fire little red stripe bottles. Do these have a stubbies, right?
They're called stubbies, yeah.
No other name for them. The Solar Power Blonde, a 5% crusher right here. Let's talk about the beer first and foremost, and once we get into the story, we can talk more about the solar. So tell us about this specific beer. What's the deal, boys?
You want to hit it?
Yeah, so in terms of ingredients, the whole focus of this project, is to fully embrace the Ontario and Canadian landscape of the ingredients available to us. So beginning from the base ingredients, we obviously have the spring water or the well water on site here at ArBrū, and Phil was able to get a water report back in 2023, which for any brewer is honestly an incredible template to build upon beers, because I truly really find huge utility in building a beer recipe around the water profile. And because for the longest time, like, styles were dictated by the water available to them. And so when I got the water report from Phil, I was able to plug that into my software and to curate the multitude of beers we've done based on the water profile available. And he also has a state-of-the-art reverse osmosis system, which allows me to sort of cut the strike water, the HLT water, with a mix of the well and then also the RO system to create a water profile that fits the beer at hand. And, the 7 principal ions we're working with, calcium, magnesium, sulfate, chloride, yada, yada, yada. Those are essential when you're making, let's just stick to the blonde, a beer that isn't too full. It's light drinking, because so much of that can come through in flavor, mouthfeel, body, and the interaction and the interplay between malt and hops. So for a blonde, you want to kind of fall kind of on the moderate to soft side. So from there, the general rule of thumb is with when you boost chloride, you boost maltiness. When you boost sulfate, you sometimes tend to boost bitterness. But for this beer, just speaking on water, I did about a 50-50 cut of his well water, which was 273 milligrams of maximum reserve hardness. And then the RO, and then build up there from calcium chloride, gypsum, and Epsom salts. So the essentials and using my software to sort of hit the parameters that are desirable for this style. And that helps in a lot of ways, but the name of the game is flavor, right? And you don't want to have a hard water, stout, for example. Well, sure you can, but the beer is going to turn out better if you curate the water profile for a beer like this blonde in the water. Now, switching over to malt, we looked around at what's available in the purview of where we are, and Mississippi Mills Malting creates incredible malt. Looking at their spec sheet, like some of the main parameters, moisture content, diastatic power, friability, they're on par with Rahr and Weyermann, and it's well done malt. And so Phil has been buying and Mississippi Mills malt, and so that's been a whole new game changer for me over years of brewing. And after 7 brews now, I love it. It works for these beers.
Yeah, and just to add to that, so we're using Ontario malt. The whole point of the Solar Beer project is to really focus on local. We've recently done a beer with Glorious and Free, launched by Dominion.
Nice. Yes.
100% Canadian ingredients, but all the base malts are all from Ontario, about an hour and a half driving from us here in Mallorytown in the Ottawa Valley region.
Okay.
So we are really focused on keeping it local. And this one, the train's going by right now. Welcome to Mallorytown. This is a malt, is it? This is a single.
Well, yes, exactly.
Do you want to just talk about this?
Yeah.
Talk about that.
So in terms of the grist, the grain bill, and the malts, naturally it's a blonde, right?
Yeah.
So you want it to be malt forward. You want it to be clean. You want it to be easy drinking and no frills. That's kind of my approach to sort of this, like a blonde of this caliber, right? So it's a mix of 2-row and Pilsner malt from Mississippi Mills.
Yeah.
And then also a little bit naturally, you have to incorporate some sort of sour malt and just to get the pH right, of course. And then for hops, Duke 25.
Out of Quebec, by the way. Out of Quebec.
Yes. So we are that goes for the bittering, and then also a slight bittering charge, minimal, modest, just to give it a backbone, something that's not just too malt heavy, and then a flame ale addition of Canadian grown Saaz. The first rendition when we was Hallertau, Mittelfrüh, and Saaz. The second one you're drinking is Magnum and also Saaz. Canadian, yeah.
Both Canadian.
Both
yes,
Canadian, yeah.
Exactly.
So this beer actually, so I don't know if you can see it here. We've got a little QR code on the back of the bottle. I'm not sure if you can see it there, but basically it's just a logo that says Canadian origins, and you can scan the QR code and it shows you where all the ingredients from each beer comes from. And this one here is over 90% Canadian, actually closer to 95.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so just something kind of fun we're doing with this project.
And it's interesting too, because when you're using these proprietary malts because I'm sure that like the malting process is incredibly complex. It's storied. It's been going on for centuries. It's a whole world of its own. But like these guys are creating malts that have their own unique character.
Yeah.
And you see that in a clean beer where you're not hiding things with hops, with fruit, with yada, yada, yada. You really get the full expression of what the Canadian malt comes through. And for me personally, I get a little bit of like biscuit, a little bit of malty breadiness, and it's mainly showcasing the malt of the region, of what Mississippi Mills,
local Ontario.
Exactly.
Malt, right? And they're new at it too. Obviously, they're getting better as time goes. I think malting is still relatively new in Ontario, as we know. It's like wine.
There's very few.
It's developing as time goes, and I think the same can be said for malting as well.
Yeah, and we did one with Barn Owl, which also Canadian. Ontario, yeah, for the first rendition, and honestly, I think we are happy with what the Mississippi Mills stash and what he's doing, because the repeatability is there, and it's plus the malt we received was malted only about 6 months ago, so
it's fresh and.
Yes, and looking at his spec, like for a maltster to get those spec sheets and to get the analysis,
the data
is expensive. And like when I messaged him, like it's it takes a lot to get that done. And when I just compared it to Raw, the big fellas, he was right up there with the big specs. Mm-hmm. Naturally, moisture content is a big one. Diastatic power, right? Friability, all those things. And I'm really happy with it for sure. I think Phil is too. And
but like I think I want to stress that the Solely Beer project as part of ArBrū is, it's experimental. We're just starting this out in a more dialed way with the business, and every batch is a learning experience. What we're doing has never really been done in the way that we're doing it. We're completely off the grid here. We don't have backup power. We don't have a generator that we use right now. We're Canada's first solar powered brew pub.
So Canada, actually is Canada's first.
Yeah.
I was wondering about, okay.
As far as we are aware, we are Canada's first solar powered brew pub. Completely off the grid.
I love that. For solar powered brew pumps. We'll make sure I got that correct as well.
Yeah, every pump,
that's
every kettle is powered by the power banks,
batteries. It's an electric system, of course, and it's all running off batteries and solar. So we try and time our brew days with when the sun is available. Of course, the summertime is ideal. So we're able to brew obviously more in the summer, but winter we're not open as much. On sunny days, we can also produce. So it's super experimental. We're learning so much, and it's not perfect. I will stress that, but it's getting better every time. Right.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's the beauty. There's every brew day. There's always something many things that are just like, okay, guys, Phil, we can do this next time. We can work on efficiency. We can, sort of work towards creating better beer. Not to be too, it's so, yeah.
That's awesome, boys. Thank you for that breakdown. That's really cool. The beer is super interesting. I feel like it's clearly a blonde ale. There's something unique about it. And is that there's almost like a tang or something?
I think it might be the Mississippi Mills malt.
That was my theory. Yeah. Okay.
So it attenuated at 78% attenuation.
Okay.
So we which is interesting because I'm used to brewing blonde ales with Raw, Wireman, Chris from England. And but also maybe we can get into this later. I won't digress, but the convection currents in electric element are far different than the BTUs of propane, right? So you do have, and every system's different. So there are many things to be said about immersion elements versus an under kettle flame that. You know what I mean? Like
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Right.
Or the heat from the bottom as opposed to kind of like the whole thing electrically heated up.
Right. And you get 90% efficiency when you're submerged like that. And but it goes beyond, and like reduced scorching. And also like there's but for me, like Maillard reactions are a huge part of the brewing process when you're brewing light ales, and essentially because you want to keep out that sort of nutty, like dark biscuit kind of flavor. But yes, I do think it's the malt that's coming through here on heavy on this blonde. And the metrics for the brew day were on spec, in terms of pH, kettle, mash pH, runoff, all that. But I think it really showcases the Canadian malt and hops.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's super unique. It works. It all works really well. It's got a nice little citrusy, little like lemony type of vibe in that. Mild little grassy bitterness. I feel like this is definitely like I see blonde ale is probably less in Ontario and a little more in Quebec.
Okay.
And I feel like I lived in Montreal for 10 years, so I saw them a lot. They were I seem to be a little more popular there. So I feel like I don't get to try them as much as I used to. So whenever I'm like, oh yeah, like they're like a nice little alternative to a crispy. Well, I guess technically it's an ale as opposed to a lager, but yeah, I like a different type of vibe, and I think it's super unique beer. And if you got those 2 Canadian hops, you got the Canadian malts, and this is a perfectly great. What is it? 5%? Yeah,
5%.
yeah, 5%, crushable.
Yeah,
banger, wicked out of the bottle. I love these bottles too. Very cool.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
they were actually designed.
yeah.
They were designed by myself in house, so it's the first time that I kind of
the push
get into the
bottles.
Get into the graphic design side of things. So.
Oh right, that too. Okay, sick.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man.
No, Phil did a bang up job on those.
Yeah, man.
Maybe we'll talk. Yeah.
We can we can even talk about this particular label right now since we're doing it. But are these things on the label here? Are they those things that you see on barns around?
So in Prince Edward County, actually,
Yeah.
we do have these funky little
I don't know what they're called.
It's not particularly from there or anything like that. It's just something that I was able to find that was kind of funky and sort of reminded me of like, it's just bright. It's just bright, and it's just like it reminds me of the sun, kind of.
I like that. Yeah.
So
it feels like summer. This label
feels like summer. There you go. That's exactly what we're going for with the solar power blonde. So.
Yeah, that's great shit. Now, is this one I did see online that was that I think they're smaller batches for all the solar power stuff, like 300.
Yeah, so we've got it's about a 3-barrel system.
Okay,
and we finished with what?
Come packaging, it's about 330 liters.
Yeah,
the kettle full blown is 400 liters. As you know, once loss, packaging, trub. Conical fermenter loss, all that. That's what you get. Yeah.
Yeah. So about 300 up to 350 is kind of what we sort of end up with, I think, Mitch?
Yep.
On a brew.
Yep.
Okay. So it's like a limited batch that people would want to get their hands on because each batch is different, as you were describing. The one previous, different hops.
Yeah, and I think the focus with this project is we could certainly can what we produce with solar power, but we really wanted to differentiate it from our other brand. And sort of premiumize it, if you will, with the stubbies. And no one, as far as I'm aware, in at least our general area, is using stubbies to package their beer. So we
one time, yeah.
Yeah, like so for us, it's sort of a differentiator in the market specifically for the solar beer project to sort of make it stand out a little bit amongst other cans out there. So it's just kind of like, hey, what's this? This is different. So people are stoked to grab stubbies again. It's sort of nostalgic, if you will, right? So
big time. Yeah, this super fun. I was very happy to see these because it's like there's only one brewery I know of that did one run of one beer just for fun as stubbies, but there's nothing I've seen that's consistent, that's always around, that's like in this format. And I think it's got to be a pain in the ass because I'm sure it's a lot easier to can than this. But it really labor of love, right?
Yeah, it's just a differentiator, and we're all about differentiation.
Hell yeah, bro. I love it. So you know what? This is awesome. Thank you for you guys both going into this. Let's take a step back and get looks like my screen's going to freeze from time to time. I think it's the software started doing it recently, but the audio doesn't cut out, so we're good. Okay. So let's maybe take a step back. We'll get the histories, then we'll lead into the brewery, then we can really dive into all the different things that you guys kind of touched on already. Let's start with the beer history. So whoever wants to go first, love to hear how you both individually got into craft beer and your individual kind of careers and everything you're doing involving beer, and then leading up to the brewery itself.
You want to kick it, or you want me to kick it?
I suppose I'll give it a go for a little bit. Yeah. Okay, so I was brewing in Guelph, and I moved back home in the fall, last fall, November, and then I immediately started, looking for breweries in this area. This is where my family's from. And I went around and did the rounds. But 2 years prior, I was at a place near me, and I saw ArBrū I saw a beer at a restaurant, family restaurant, and it said ArBrū Solar Brewery, and I got thinking, dang, there's a brewery around here, because this is in terms of this area, and I was just like, whoa, I got to go there. And this was when I was, but anyway, so I moved back home, and then in December I drove out to meet Phil, dropped off a resume, and then we got chatting, and then the next week or so we just connected and just started chatting, going back and forth, talking ideas, because at the time the brew house that was here was not operational, and I was thinking, okay, yes, this is a beautiful, like a wonderful place to, go full throttle in terms of setting this up, because it's an opportunity, find opportunity. If
Definitely different.
Yes,
it's not your typical brewery.
No, it's for sure.
Yeah.
I was completely involved in curious and really wanted to set, work with Phil and set this up. And I had a job at the time, and it was after hours for a good chunk of time. And from there in January, set up the glycol system. Then from there, it was set up the brew house. Then from there, it was set up some of the brewery plumbing setups. Then from there, it just snowballed into creating a brewery in a small space in order to start producing beer.
With a limited power as well.
Limited amount of power. Yeah.
That was this year?
In January, I showed up.
January this year. Okay.
I showed up with a truck full of brewery equipment, just because I live and breathe this shit, and I thought, okay, this is the time. This is the time where I can collaborate with somebody who has the vision, the know-how, the business side of things, the growth, the drive, everything. And so I thought, okay, all right, I'm gonna get this brewery going with Phil, and we're gonna talk. We were talking pumps and everything, all the things, because a brewery requires a lot of stuff. So no doubt. So yeah. And then from there, as of last week, I came on full time between jump bounce jobs, because I was just doing many different things, and I finally realized that this is what I can stick around and tunnel vision towards, let's say.
Yeah, I just want to mention though, like we were brewing before briefly. We had we were dealing with a consultant, right? And that was a little bit more difficult because he was out of town, and it was really difficult. And we were never really set up properly. And that's where Mitch sort of came in and took on the challenge. It was like, hey, Mitch, like we're a different brewery, man. Like we have like this much power, and we want to make this much beer. Right. Like, are you willing to take this on? I've talked to a lot of brewers, a lot of consultants, and a lot of them it's so unconventional what we do here, I think. And so a lot of other consultants, brewers, maybe didn't really want to work with us because they're like, how are we going to do this?
Yeah, it was a bit bare
what I mean?
From the start.
And I think when you came online, you were a little bit like, you were down to do it, to take it on, but you were a little bit like, shit, okay, like how are we going to do this? Like we have to reimagine stuff,
step by step,
and like
breaking things down.
And it's I want to super stress, man, this is super experimental, and it's not friggin' perfect. And that's the beauty about what we do. It's every day is an adventure. And like a few years ago when we started, I guess 3 years ago now, we had a third of the energy that we have now. We just tripled our solar capacity. Right. So now we're able to more comfortably, run more electrical thermal energy in our kettles so that we can produce more beer. When we started, man, like we were popping breakers all the time. We had we have a restaurant component. We can sit, like with inside and outside, we can sit about 120 people. And we had this place full one time, and we're popping breakers, man. And people are like, shit. But then we explain and say, hey, we're obviously people know we're solar, but we kind of reiterate, hey, man, like we're a solar powered brewery, like this shit happens. And it's interesting, right? Like we're super unconventional. The brewing process is weird. It's not perfect, and it's like this guy was willing to take it on. That's the beauty.
It was a challenge, it's the end result. And then after that first beer, the honey ale,
Honey
setting
Ale's
up
number one.
the glycol system, setting up all the brewery plumbing
All
stuff.
of that, man.
Rick, fixing the pumps and all that stuff. That's and then all the like sort of unforeseen things that pop up. But
yeah,
man, after
Totally.
that first beer, the honey ale, it was like, okay, all right, we can make great beer. Phil and I, we can do some good beer.
And we're still dialing that in. Like, to be honest with you, like, we have a lot more work to do, and we're figuring it out. And sometimes producing more like better beers requires capital investments, getting better equipment, that kind of stuff. So we're working with what we have. We're still a startup. Like, I want to stress that we're still a startup. We've invested a lot of frigging capital into our solar equipment, right? Like, we've probably got $250,000 into our solar equipment. So that $250,000 could have gone into so many other things like brewing equipment and that stuff. And obviously we're going to work towards that. But our differentiator in the market is really that we're off the grid. And that's what helps bring people into our establishment at the same time. Right. So, but Mitch was one of the only guys, like I said, that was willing to take this shit on. And so mad props to you.
That's awesome.
It's totally unique and one of a kind. And I love brewing, and when there's the potential to do something that is unconventional, a challenge, and it's worth it because after that first beer we did, I just got thinking, all right, let's try the honey ale, and then we'll know from there. And then the moment it was okay, we were happy with it. It was like, it's on.
Yeah, so totally.
That's awesome, boys. Great. Thanks for that, Mitch. That's an awesome story, brother. So then on your side, Phil, how did you get into beer, and how did that lead to the brewery?
Oh, man. So always had a passion for craft beer. I discovered craft beer sort of locally when I went to Big Rig in Ottawa. And I was like, hey, man, this is a really cool concept. You can go to a restaurant and shit, they got beer tanks everywhere making their own product, and I can take cans to go. I'm drinking the stuff that's made on site. Like, what a cool concept. And but it started off with drinking like beers from like Germany and in Europe, and I was like, always exploring new types of beers that were not your typical like macro beers that you would have in Canada. And I was always passionate about trying new beers. I've also traveled to about 20 countries in Europe backpacking, so I was always trying different beers. Very excited about that. Love to drink beer. And but it started off with going to one of the first brew pubs in Ottawa. And I was like, hey, this is cool. And then my dad owns land here in Mallorytown, where we are. And we started a cider company. Initially, my introduction to the brewing or craft beverage industry started off with cider. And also, I should say, cannabis beverages. My dad and I started a cannabis beverage company not too far from here. So I was the project manager for that, and just getting involved with canning equipment, the infusion of the beverages, working with the different staff there. So
is it still around?
The cannabis company?
Yeah.
It is, yeah. It is still around.
Are you cool to say what it is?
Absolutely. It's called Molecule.
Molecule. Sick.
Molecule.
I don't smoke, but I love the gummies and beverages, so I'll look it up.
Yeah.
So where do you get, if people want to get Molecule beverages, where can they get that?
So you would get them at your typical cannabis store. I've been at that company for some time now.
Okay.
I'm involved with sort of I was a construction manager for the project essentially. So, but they have different brands. One of them is called Fresh. It's very popular. It's PH, Fresh with a PH. Okay. And that's their their line of products that's kind of well known and recognized. So yeah, man, cannabis beverages, also craft cider making was where I was involved with. I basically ran my dad's cider company. It's just next door to us right here in Mallorytown. So I started with that.
What's that called? Just to shout it out.
Yeah, no worries. Shout out to Bushel Cider, BUSL Cider here in Mallorytown.
Okay.
Yeah, and basically I quit my job in Ottawa, sold my house, moved down to Mallorytown. My dad's like, hey man, I'll make you an offer. You can manage this place, start making cider. We had a consultant at the time. Didn't work out. The guy bailed, left us kind of hanging, and I just stepped in a big way and just put everything aside and learned how to make cider. Maybe not perfectly, but we got the job done, and yeah, man, got the business going. So I started off with craft cider in terms of and cannabis beverages in terms of involvement. So yeah, I was working for the dad and for my father next door for the cider company. So, you know, I was doing everything from social media, event planning, running the cash on the weekend, man, like doing everything, delivering cider, creating the recipes, everything. So it was like, yeah, it was fun that I was able to sort of take ownership of the whole business, but that taught me a lot. And the things that I learned from Bushel Cider, I brought to ArBrū. Like the big one is social media. If you can't promote yourself, you're screwed, man. You can have the best product.
Tell me about it.
So like I brought that here, and but the goal was always to open a brewery. And my dad owns a 3-acre farm here in Mallorytown, and he was kind enough to sever me a 2-acre lot. And man, like tunnel vision, brewing, like just there was nothing on the property. I always wanted to build this, and we started from nothing, man. It was just a piece of land. I drilled my own well, put in my own septic, put the building up, the solar, everything from scratch. Wow. But like always wanted to do this, start off with the cider, and yeah, just really wanted to brew craft beer, but wanted to do it in a different way. Obviously wanted to brew with solar. That's my passion. Also my background. I went to Ireland to study sustainable energy engineering. I also used to own a solar installation company, so I had the background there. And for me, like ArBrū, like I didn't want to do ArBrū if it wasn't off the grid. I just wasn't interested. For me, it was like I really wanted to marry craft beer and the solar component, or else it's just the project wasn't fun enough for me. But like we started off, man, like because in the wintertime there's not a lot of sun, right? So we had to learn how to work with Mother Nature, not only to produce beer, but to also run the brew pub. Like we're also a restaurant and a dining area, so it's not just the beer side, it's also running the business, keeping the lights on and all that. So it's been a friggin' journey. I've also slept on the floor for the first until recently I moved out. I slept on the floor for basically the first 3 years of opening this business. I just moved out, man.
Like just mattress on the floor, just
mattress on the floor, the dirty floor in the beginning, and then I built myself a little bit of a better apartment within with the building I'm in right now. But yeah, just to save on rent, man, reinvesting every penny back in the business, expanding the solar, just pumping product out the door, trying to get things going, and it's been a hell of a ride.
That's amazing. Good for you, man. Building this shit from scratch by hand. That's insane. That's insane.
Yeah, and I'm the only owner in ArBrū, so I raising money. It's all my money, and I had a little bit of help from my parents, of course, but it's been a friggin' like just reinvesting every goddamn penny and not paying myself for the first year and a half.
That's amazing, dude. Congrats. That's crazy. Yeah, man. Hey, look. It's gotta be. It doesn't really get any better than something that you sacrifice for, and that it really aligns with the things that you believe in.
And you know what? It would be really easy for us to connect to the power grid. Like it's right in front of us. It would be super easy, and we could have taken that capital and put it in other directions. You know, we could have a bigger facility. We probably have better brewing equipment. But my thing, and maybe it's the wrong thing, was really the being off the grid and being able to run the business as a solar powered brew pub. And that was the focus. So it started off really with, you know, making a facility that runs off the grid. Initially we wanted to brew in-house, but that proved to be more difficult. So we started with co-pack. Even before we opened ArBrū in 2022, I've been co-packing since 2019, or partner brewing, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Contract.
Contract brewing. That's how I started, because in 2019, my dad owns a restaurant and he owned a cider company. So I was like, shit, I can, you know, start co-packing beer under my brand, whatever. I can start building my business and I can sell it through that outlet and then reach out to local bars and restaurants and get the business going before the brick and mortar is ready. So that's kind of how ArBrū started. It was like, okay, so let's get a brand going. Let's dabble in the beer industry and see how this works. Didn't have a clue when it started, right? Knew about cider, you know, learned a little bit from that, but beer is completely different, man. So I was selling my stuff out of his restaurant, and I was lucky. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, my dad basically got a liquor license just to sell our stuff. He was only selling ArBrū products. Right. It was incredible. So we were able to move a decent amount of product, and during the pandemic, it was awesome. Like, not the pandemic itself, of course, but like we were moving a lot of product out of my dad's restaurant because you were allowed to sell retail as well, right? They changed the rules, and that worked out really well for us. And then, you know, as things moved along, I stopped working at the cidery and wanted to go off on my own and physically build what we have here today, which is ArBrū. So
That's sick, bro. The contract, we're big fans overall. Like on the pod, I've always like been vocal about, because there was a bit of like a, I don't know if you remember, but like the little before, like 2017, 2018, there was a bit of like the bunch of the beer nerds in the scene. Everyone was kind of felt like they were against contract brewing, and I own a social media agency, and it's smart business to me. Like,
yeah, man, absolutely.
Everything the way you described them, like that's why it exists. So I always get mad when anybody shits on it. So I think it's super cool.
I really appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I feel like contract brewers definitely get a bad rap, and I just think it's like a smart way to run a business. So I think that's amazing, and I imagine then that those 3 years of contracting had really sort of positioned the brand. People were excited because you put in that groundwork through your father's restaurant and through other places. I imagine that people were like, oh yeah, that's that brand I'm used to getting. Now they got a place sick. I imagine there was a direct connection.
Certainly was. And I'm not going to lie to you. I will straight up say this. Like, had we not started the business off, even when we had the brick and mortar, had we not started with co-packing, we'd be out of business right now. It wouldn't freaking work. We couldn't do the volumes. We were just learning so much. And yeah, perhaps we wanted to brew in house when we started, but we were more focused on the business. And so had we not done it in the way that we did, we'd be out of business right now. We'd be screwed. We'd be over.
I know. Well, that's amazing that you were able to figure that out. And look, I've heard multiple breweries that will brew some stuff in house and continue to contract maybe their larger brands because they can't even if they made it themselves, they couldn't do it for the same rate that they're getting it through other people. And I could probably count them on, like at least a handful that I can think of off the top of my head. And
the
it's
last
like
I worked for did the same thing. Yeah,
beautiful.
Yeah.
I think it's good. I think it's good to not have to put everyone's business out there, but I feel like it's good to say that hey, that there's people that do this, and it's a great model. It helps the contracting brewery as well because they've got space they need to fill, and it helps the contract brand to. Or maybe it's the brand that is doing the contracting, whether it's you guys who already brew your stuff on premise or something. I just think it's like a great model, and I always love to like harp on it if there's a success story from contracting. I think it's the coolest thing where a brand starts as that, and then with aspirations of brick and mortar, and then they get there, and I just think it's awesome, and it proves all the haters wrong. I'm doing that. I love it.
I really appreciate that, man, for sure.
It's a beautiful thing. So, shall we hit the next one?
Let's hit it.
Let's do it.
I think you guys might have beat me to it. So we're moving on to a different style.
Here we go. Here's
You can.
Let's get it.
All right. So, busting out a bit of Canadian haze here. I don't really. You couldn't tell you the last time I had a hazy IPA out of a bottle. That's awesome.
Yeah, nice. Yeah.
I mean that in a great way. It's super fun. All right. So this is a double IPA, 7%.
Right.
Tell us about this one. Oh,
Mitch,
this is free.
Sure. So, this essentially the big thing with this one was to use once again Canadian grown cultivars from specifically the big heavy hitters in this one are Hydra and Bergamot
hops.
Which are
Hydra and Bergamot
relatively newer on the scene. But they are exploding with Hydra specifically is a bit of, it's not at the same level of Citra in terms of hype, but it's just like a bouquet of flavors beyond just like the classics of tropical, citrusy mango, pineapple. It's got this whole sort of like mix of sure, you get the pineapple or the tropical, but there's also a little bit of floral, a little bit of let's say like pine, but it's not too resinous. Naturally, for an IPA like this, what carries most of the weight? The big dry hops, right? Gotcha. So, but for the grain bill, pretty standard. Like 2-row malt, about 50% of the grist is malted wheat and malted and oats, and I'm a big proponent of using malted wheat and malted oats for the most part instead of just pure flaked oats. Okay. Just because I find that there's a little more haze stability, and also naturally because it's malted, you do get that enzymatic conversion. that that can help with things such as haze stability, as well as a more rounded, I wouldn't say caramely, but it's almost like a fuller flavor. Sometimes with toasted wheat flakes and flaked oats, you can sometimes if you go a little heavy handed with it, you can get these kind of, like if you're going to acrid kind of notes. Sure, you can make a great session IPA with toasted oats, but malted wheat, malted oats is I find make a delightful IPA. And then Foggy London Ale from Escarpment Labs,
of course.
and then, but yes, and then the big thing for this guy was to completely be 100% all the way through and through.
Yeah.
So there is, and Phil's got the label which shows the breakdown of the entirety of the.
We should also mention we made it extra Canadian by adding some maple syrup in this one.
Yeah, just as a nice little tip of the hat. Yeah,
that's amazing.
It's just yeah, and
that's sick.
Yeah.
Maple in there.
And for me, the big thing with hazy IPAs, especially when you get up to the caliber, of 7%, 8%, 6%, 7%, it's really, really important. I find that you add the dry hops, especially the big charge, and at least let it sit for 24 minimum, sometimes 72 hours, right? It's like you got 3 days. And also when it comes, so there is a small biotransformation edition, but over the years, I found that when it comes to adding your biotransformation hops, I find that if you add them within at high krausen, you can kind of get a flavor that is not, sure, the flavor might be fine, but it's just, you can run into these yeasty kind of like notes with it. And then depending on your water profile and the grist, I find that if you push the biotransformation hops a little further, maybe day 3, day 4, you get this long-lasting flavor that isn't hidden. But yes, very, very standard grain bill, let's say. But the thing I love about this system in a lot of ways is the geometry of the mash tun. Funny enough, because I'm able to get incredibly clear runnings with the system we have here. When it comes, so my Vorloff technique is a little different. Not, I'm sure other brewers might be doing, but the way I Vorloff is a little more. I like to do, sure, mash conversion, 60 minutes generally. This is well modified base malt, but I do find that if you Vorloff for about 20 minutes and then have a little bit of a rest, the bed compacts. And then you get this beautiful clear runoff, because I really, my big thing is making sure you have like no trub kind of going, some trub, but not majority of that trub from the kettle. But the other thing too is the pH. I've always over the years noticed that pH is the best eyes you can ever have on brewing, to be honest. And for hazy IPAs, unlike other styles, when you're in the boil kettle, I like to take it. I learned this from Hill Farmstead. I'm sure you know Hill Farmstead in Vermont.
Yes, I know. Actually, I have hung out with Sean. He's a good dude.
And they are just honestly like a league of their own. Beautiful IPAs. Same with Bellwoods or Blood Brothers. But I read this about their post-boil pH. I try to aim for 4.6 to 4.8. Mostly it's 4.8, and I find that helps a lot with maintaining that, because as you know, when you dry hop super heavily, what does the pH do? It rises, and then you want, if you're not doing the proper kettle adjustments with your pH for an IPA like this, because obviously the classic is 5.2, 5.0, but if you go 4.8, you have that buffer. When you throw your large dry hop, you're still within the safe range to get that nice sharp, and not in the aggressive sense, but juicy, almost pineapple juicy like flavor. And temp control is a huge thing, pinch naturally, but I do enjoy this system in a lot of ways, in how I can manipulate the oil kettle. But Hydra and Bergamot, I love to use them again. I find because I'm used to I'm used to Citra and
And this is the second IPA, but the first that we've done. You and I on this one.
So
we would
first hazy.
So there's lots to learn from the first.
And we're at 2 months right now, and we've still got some like a good thick haze, as well as as we all know, oxygen is the big enemy of beer. So I try as hard as possible, and I do believe in hot side aeration. So I really, really try to minimize O2 uptake during my sparge, I'm not doing low dough brewing, like, low does of it, but I really limit hot side aeration and make sure that the pumps don't shear the kettle on the cast out. And I do love Foggy London. I think it's it's the Conan strain. It's wonderful, but I do find slight bitter addition gives it
not much, just
not
a touch.
not exactly not like a full blown back, but it's a hazy. So, but I'm trying to find the ceiling in a lot of ways when it comes to hazy IPAs, especially when we do this next rendition, because
I think we would add a bigger dry hop next time, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
Did you say that?
Yeah, I think we can.
Yeah, we would dose it a little bit higher.
For our volume, we when you look at the typical amounts you add, we a kilo and a half or 1.8 kilos, we were about 1.2 or 1.3 kilos. And and the other interesting thing about ArBrū, I'll just keep it quick, is that I have to brew unitank style. We brew unitank style. So I really had to learn a lot about how to properly, so there's no transfers to an aging tank or a bright tank. So I really had to be very careful about brewing in the same vessel, from cast out to crashing, to dry hopping, to kegging, to packaging. It's a beer for the math. It's a hazy IPA that I think is doing okay and pretty well here.
We're showcasing again the Ontario malt from Mississippi Mills as well, right? Because the barley, the wheat is from them.
And from Mississippi Mills. So I love it. I was about to ask that as well. I love that. Okay, no, this is great, boys. Definitely, it's got a super unique profile, which I imagine is kind of similar to the blonde, where it's from the malts as well, but obviously the two unique Canadian hops, right? Both of them. So they're like, it's super, like, it's got the body, like the body's nice and creamy and tropical, and there's sort of like some melon, kind of like stone fruit.
That's the note that I said.
That was the first thing when we were tasting it. I was like, dang,
melon is right.
That's melon.
I feel that too, man.
You got it, man.
Yeah, and it's super juicy. Like 2 months is on the higher end for haze, but it's holding up well, particularly in a bottle, which is even harder to manage, because I guess it's just as you know as well. Now this, you were saying you're working on a second IPA. Now, are you going to keep the all Canadian ingredients vibe going on for that one, or are you going to?
You bet, man. Yeah, no, we're sticking to it. We're committed to the Glorious and Free Trans-Canadian Alliance, and we're going to keep it all 100% Canadian. But we might.
So you do another version of this beer, not a different IPA.
So we're going to do another Canadian haze, but I think we're going to switch the hops out on this one.
Yeah, we're going to try and do variations of the Canadian haze. Just to keep it interesting and give variety and give sort of showcase what else there is out there. And one of the things we're eyeing up right now is, of course, the tried and true Cascade. The hop that changed IPAs forever, really. So. Cascade, big grapefruit, zesty, floral notes, and then perhaps we might pair that with one of the C's, Centennial, Chinook, but we are big fans of Hydra from Duke 25. But
they're doing some pretty innovative, as you already may know. Like they're doing some pretty innovative. They're leading in Canada. They're the leaders for Canadian grown experimental high end hops. Like they nail it. I do think they're number one, as you I'm sure know.
Yeah, we had Josh on recently from Dominion talking about the project, and I think it was on that pod that I pulled up the website when we were looking through it. If it wasn't that pod, it was another one. But I remember going through and like, geez, like these guys have got all this shit. That's fucking crazy. I was pretty impressed with
they've got
the sheer volume.
They're growing.
This is agreed. Yes. Like they really carry, and then they carry noble variety. Yeah, they carry. No.
Quebec has always been, in my opinion, like at the leader, like of a lot of artisanal different things. You know, not that Ontario isn't, but in a different way almost.
I would agree.
They're killing it, man. As you know, you live in Montreal. I mean,
I feel like they were the ones. That's where I learned about like focusing on local. Montreal would like, you know, everything that they did was really important that it was made in Quebec. And then sort of Vermont's pretty similar as well, but Quebec were really just passionate about it. So I think they just kind of led from there. And like now it's kind of spread a bit more, which is really nice because it's a great thing to be focusing on. And they got some great hops too. I know, I think it's called Houblonnière Lupulin. They do the only Canadian El Dorado, right? Yeah. Which is pretty. So it's like they're the only people who do it. And apparently because of it, I might be wrong, but I'm fairly because you're drinking during these pods and I always forget shit. But I'm almost certain that this Glorious and Free project put them on the map because people started looking locally for ingredients and people were like, you can get this. And they were on the verge of closing. And because of this project alone, they weren't even going to plant the next crop. And then they were like, I guess we better. So I feel like this actually, this beer and this concept that you guys are participating in is literally saving Canadian businesses, and I think that's
so happy and proud.
Beautiful thing.
And shout out, of course, to Dominion City. Like, incredible.
Their IPAs.
Also produce amazing beers, as we all know.
True. They're glorious.
Absolutely. Good on you guys for getting involved in it. I love it. So that's great. So you're going to keep pumping this out. And the other thing I was going to ask, I forgot. How many brews have you done on the solar system so far?
Okay, so we've done 1, 2. How many have we done? We've done 6 or 7?
I think it's 7.
7. So if we've done 7, you and I, we've done 9 or 10 total
since 2020. Since the beginning.
Since the beginning, yeah. Different styles. Different styles.
So 7 since
we've been working together. Yeah.
And then, but the brewery, excuse my memory as well, but you got the brewery fully set up in full solar this year. But or am I misconstruing that? It was set up.
So, no, I'll be super transparent. So we opened in 2022 and we had brewing equipment, but we were almost more focused on the business side, and we were dealing with co-packers already because we started co-packing initially. So we had a bunch of stock. And so we were moving it through our brew pub, and then we also have the food component as well. And then it took, I'll be honest with you, it took a lot longer to get to where we are right now, where we are actually brewing with solar in-house. It was a lot harder than I thought. Right. We started, that's what we want to do. And it took longer. I'll be fully transparent about that right now.
Hey, man, that's how it goes. You guys are doing something that essentially hasn't been done. So,
man, sorry, go ahead.
No, please.
No, like it was business first, right? Like feed the family, like pay your staff first, and what feeds your staff? Okay, this is what we got to do. Okay, now we're comfortable. The business is making money. We feel comfortable. We know what we're doing. We understand our market. Okay, let's expand into what we're doing right now.
Beautiful. So it made sense to do it that way. Look, I think that's the move, bro. You guys are doing it the right way and figuring it out. And I imagine for you then, Phil, having a partner like Mitch, as far as a brew partner, thought partner with it all, and you guys can work together on tweaking. If you're only like together, really, the earlier brews, I imagine, almost don't count to the way that you guys are working now, as far as like the processes that you're figuring out and the approach to the beers. So it's so early in on this that it's I feel like people, I'm glad you guys are transparent in mentioning that. So when people come and try stuff, look, this is all great stuff. I know you're saying it to be like, hey, it's only going to get better from here, which I think is important for people to know. But that's great. I think it's awesome for you to do this.
Because I've been brewing for 7 years now, but I've never ever brewed at a brewery like this. So it comes with like this whole plethora of things that are different than what different breweries do, and whether that be the system, whether that be let's say the process design of how the beer goes from hot side to cold side, storage, interplay between stock and focusing on what works, what fits.
It's crazy.
There was a lot of plumbing work to be done to get this thing set up, and yeah.
No, but I think I was talking to I was dealing with a consultant at the time, and it honestly didn't really work out really well. And we really needed someone who was like, okay, you're doing some weird shit, like, hell yeah, let's give it an F and go, man. And that was Mitch, because a lot of brewers, once they understand how we work and what we're doing and where we're at, they're like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I was told before I started that we would never be able to do what we're doing today. So, I mean, it's just, and it's not perfect, man. Like, we got a lot of work to do still, but we're doing it, and we have plans to just keep crushing and keep moving forward. But
here we are drinking
man,
we're doing
solar powered beer.
Like,
yes, sir.
I can tell you, just to even get into it here, just real quick. I'll keep
dive
it
in.
short, but man, we would have live music on a weekend, and before the band was done, it was the last song. Halfway through the last song, we friggin' ran out of power, bro. We ran out of electricity. The lights went out. That's how crazy this project is. It's like we are so committed to be off the grid without a generator that we ran out of fucking power, man, on the last. Yeah, it's
why. Excuse my ignorance, because I think the whole off the grid thing is it's the it's the goals for the future. I want land and off the grid shit just to be self reliant. Now, what is the reasoning for not having a generator? I'd love to hear the ethos on that.
Yeah, I can certainly speak on that. So the first year, ArBrū is essentially it's an experimental outlet for me. Obviously, we're a business, want to make money, but I also want to have fun too, right? I'm a bit of a weird, kooky, mad scientist kind of guy.
All right.
And when I started, I was like, no, man, I'm committed to running this without a generator. So I was playing, just messing around, doing what I could to at night, what can we afford to turn off tonight? Turn this off, turn that off, and just play with power and see how we could run the business. And that brought me joy to run the business off the grid. But what happened when the power went out is the system was new, the whole solar setup was new, and I'm learning how to run it, etc. And turns out the batteries could have gone down an extra 10%, but I had a setting on the batteries that told the batteries to cut out at certain state of charge.
Gotcha.
So yeah, the batteries cut out, and it was the end of the day, and we just didn't have enough power. We ran out of power. And even checking people out in the cash, we couldn't do it. It was a whole thing.
Okay. So you're just really being a hard ass. You're being a hard ass, and very a stickler to a purist.
Trying to be a purist, man. Trying to be a purist, but then again, business is business. You want to be a purist, but you got to feed the beast too, right? You got to pay your staff, you got to be able to make enough money, etc. But the first year, I was super passionate about that. I obviously lived on site as well, so I was here to watch the power situation by the hour and make moves and turn things on and off to see. But I will say this: the first year we ran it the whole year without a generator, barely, freaking barely. In the winter,
so
we had one,
but
we were closed. Well, so I did not have a generator until it was right after the first year. The second winter, I was forced to get a generator because we had a Christmas market, and it was either get the generator or cancel the Christmas market. And we had 20 vendors coming here. I'm not going to cancel 20 vendors, and there's money on the table for us and for them, whatever, right? So I bought that generator, and it bailed us out. It was a shitty day. Had to do it. But that winter we ran it maybe 10 times, but we've recently tripled our solar. So we're in a good position.
Kilowatts?
We got about 31 kilowatts of solar energy. We started off at 10, so we tripled it. So
so the solar. Excuse that once again. I know nothing about it, but I'm fascinated by it. So the way solar works, there's a solar battery is separate to a generator. Is that right?
Yes. So basically, we have a solar array, panels that are outside or on the
What
roof.
everyone's seen before. Yep.
Correct. And then those go through what's called the charge controller, and the charge controller charges the batteries.
Okay.
And then the inverter it's part of the system, converts the battery power or solar power into usable electricity that would go to your electrical panel and feed all the loads in your house. And then the generator is then used to strictly charge the batteries.
Oh, and the generator is connected to mainstream power or no?
The generator is connected to the charge controller. If you want, I can show you right now. Would you be interested in that, or is that pushing it?
That's not pushing it at all.
Let's do it. Okay, let's check it out.
Field trip, boys. Field trip.
All right. So here's controller / inverter. So we've got a battery bank right here. This is only half the battery bank. We've got 16 batteries. Batteries from Montreal, by the way, so Canadian batteries. I'm stoked on that. But this is basically the brains of the system here. This is the charge controller inverter. So basically, we can get real nerdy real quick here, but
let's go.
The solar power is coming in right here. And so the power comes in, charges the batteries over here. And then there's an inverter in here as well, which converts DC direct current into alternating current, which happens right over here. And then we've got a bus bar. I don't know if you can see that bus bar right over here.
The top thing?
The top there's a copper bar.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where everything is sort of connected together into one, and then that goes to the electrical panel upstairs. But basically, this controls power coming into the solar, charges the batteries, and then this machine will also take the battery power, which is right over here, and convert it into usable power that goes into the building and is distributed to all the different loads. That makes sense.
It absolutely makes sense. Thank you that's fun. I like that field trip. That was great. So then the generator role is that if those batteries get depleted, the generator, which is also fed by solar power, or no?
Well, the generator is actually, unfortunately, I say this with regret, is gas powered, right?
Okay.
It's a gas powered. It's a standard generator.
Like you go to see a food truck and it's loud as hell behind the thing.
Correct.
That type of joint? Okay. So that shit is got its own power source that can charge the batteries to top them up if there's not enough.
Correct.
But you're still off the grid. I understand why you're saying unfortunately, but I mean, you're still sticking to you're still off the grid. You didn't say no gas power. You said no. You said off the grid, and that ain't no grid. So I feel like that's not breaking any of your commitments.
It's been tough, and we hate to use a generator, but like I said, we've tripled the solar now. Like I'll show you, we've got 1 inverter, 2 inverters, and we've recently added a 3rd.
Okay.
Oh, there we go. So now we're
What does that do? Why is having multiple inverters helpful?
So each inverter only can handle like say 10 kilowatts, and we have 30 kilowatts of solar. Right. And for us, it was easier to put 3 of them copy paste. Yeah, gotcha. Split them together and combine them as well on the AC side.
Okay. That's awesome. Thanks for that, guys. That's really fun.
And I think my passion is the solar. I mean, I love beer, obviously. I love beer and all that. I'm more on the creative side of I love making these labels. I love all that, coming up with cool styles of beer. Mitch is the brains behind the brewing side. I'm the brains behind essentially the solar side, the nerdy solar stuff. He's on the beer side more so.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, that's so cool, man. I feel like is it a reason? Obviously, I was about to say, is it a reachable goal for any other brewery? But then you did say that people told you it would never work, and here we are. So clearly, it can work.
It can work. I'm going to be super honest. If people ask me, I don't recommend it. I don't. There's nothing easy about this. It doesn't work unless you have a lot of money. If you have a lot of money, you have millions. Yeah, go for it. We bootstrapped this bottom up, man. Slept on the floor for the first 3 years. We started from nothing. We've made it from nothing. If you got money, yeah. If you don't have a lot of money, no way, man. Don't do it.
Not worth it. Could I say like a city-based brewery, maybe it's not the move, but say like a lot of the rural breweries like Badlands or something like that that's on a farm, or Willowbold or something like that, is it advisable for a situation like that as a supplementary power source to kind of like maybe like partially move off
Sure.
grid? Is that would you advise it for that? Or
Yeah.
still...
So in Ontario, we have what's called the net metering program. So the way that works is you're still tied to the grid. You're connected to the grid, but you have solar on your roof, and you use the solar within your building. No batteries. You feed power into your building, and you basically offset your energy bill by feeding power into your building. So the more power you feed in, the less you rely on the grid. And the idea is that if you produce as much power as you use over the course of a year, you're net zero, which means you don't have to buy any power. So you've offset your electricity bill. That makes sense. That's so much easier. But we're off the grid. So it's just like, shit, we only have like this much storage of battery power, and we have this much sun. And it's just like,
Canada. Yeah.
It's tricky. But we're doing it.
No, man. I love it. I love the commitment. We'll move on to the next beer, but does the, I've always wondered, and you don't have to say this if you don't feel comfortable. Does from what I've heard from digging around, like government doesn't particularly love the off the grid thing because you're not giving the power monopolies their money and da 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 da.
Sure.
Has that been a factor in any of it? Have you had your balls busted by the government in any way that you can speak about?
No, I'm happy to speak on it. We've been super lucky. There hasn't been any roadblocks. I mean, I had Hydro One call me and say, "Hey, when are you going to connect to the grid?" When we're first opening, and I said, "Never. We're not doing it." They're like, "What do you mean? We're solar." They're like, "Yeah, right." And funny enough, the boys from Hydro One have been in here, and I've seen that we're actually off grid. So they're like, "Oh shit, it's not a joke. These guys are actually off the grid."
Okay,
and,
so they're more like just happy for you as opposed to like,
I mean,
being combative.
These guys are like the technicians, the guys that do the power line. They're chilling, they're happy to have their pints and come hang out, and they're like, shit, like they did it, cool. But no, we didn't have any major issues. I think we may have had we been in a more urban area potentially, but I think we snuck under the radar really nicely, man. We've been fairly lucky on that front.
That's great. Great to hear. Yeah, I was always curious about that because I'd heard that in the past that they can get a bit of a hard time, and maybe that's in different municipalities, or maybe like you said, luck, more rural, bit more chill, less manpower to kind of bust balls or whatever.
Yeah, I feel like we snuck under the radar. Like I have a power line right on my property, man. Like it's right there. We could connect with a snap of a finger, but like, nah, no way.
Not happening. I love it. It's a beautiful thing.
Not at this point.
No, hell no. Shall we hit that the next one?
Oh,
certainly. Let's do it.
Why won't we?
Let's get it. Let's get it.
All right. It's on the big dogs right here, folks.
Yeah, we.
Oof, look at
See the
this.
color on this? Is your phone, Mitch?
Yes.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Yes.
Yeah, got some purple going.
Yeah. So the move was to go to glass just to showcase the
color. Yeah, it's like so this is a blueberry saison, by the way, 8%, and it's kind of like the camera, because I got these blue lights in the background. It's kind of like electric blue. It's pretty hectic. It's not even purple. Yeah, yours is more. Oh, okay. Yours is. I wonder if mine actually.
Well, I don't know. I guess it's kind of.
It's kind of a little purpley though. You got. Let's see what I got going on. Oh yeah, look, I got the same as you basically. To my naked eye, it looks more blue, but I've also got all these lights around that are kind of annoying. Okay, so this was the first one of this type, I imagine, since there's 7 brews. This is the first farmhouse.
This is the one that was let's go big in terms of adding fruit and also doing something a little off the cuff, because whenever you use this Saison yeast, you never really know, or Saison, let's say, you're not sure. Sure, there's a lot of Saison lovers out there, right? But you have to doctor it up in a way that it's appealing to the masses, essentially, right? Like, I'm the first person to say I love a good Belgian beer, a good, Saison DuPont or a Trappist. But when it comes to this Saison, you have, it really, really helps when you add familiar flavors such as blueberry and lavender. And lavender can be a little bit of a tough one to do right, because it's just, when you go dry with lavender, sometimes I've found it can be just grassy and dusty in a way. But when you do it in a way that it's in extract format, you have a little more of a procured flavor, something that's put together in a way that isn't just pure raw grassy green tea-esque, and the blueberry is just there as sort of a balance. It's a traditional Belgian strain, BE134, which is a diastatic strain. So it's a powerhouse, munches through a lot. And I love the base beer. You have so much clove and bubblegum and spice and whatnot.
Yeah.
But when we added the blueberry and the lavender, a lot of that was kind of muted in a good way. It sounds. So yeah, it's a.
She's a potent one.
Yeah, she's a big one. This is fat. So the lavender is giving it the color primarily then.
Actually,
it's a natural.
No. So I'll explain. Yeah. So the color, truthfully, a lot of it's coming from the blueberry, but actually a lot of the purple, the deep purple is coming from the butterfly pea extract that we've.
Oh, you got that in there. Okay.
Just for the color, man. Yeah.
So blueberries.
Blue dye number 40. Yeah. Go all
Okay, no problem. So it's blueberries, lavender, and butterfly pea flower.
Yep.
I love that. That's amazing. Yeah, the color is it's great. Why do the trains have to honk all the time if they're just driving past? Why you gotta let?
You know what? We're beside the main corridor between Montreal and Toronto / Ottawa. It's the main.
Like,
and why are they honking? Why are they honking? Because we're all wondering the same thing. It's frustrating.
It just
I'm just curious.
Just drive by.
Yeah, totally. There's petitions against it right now, actually, in town.
What do you get on the nose? I'm just curious.
Okay,
sir.
so the nose. So there's I
love appreciating. Yeah.
It's a very unique nose. That's why I was curious. So I'm wondering. It's almost like potpourri, like fragrant floral.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Fair.
And I know that the butterfly pea flower can be a little earthy. I'm not getting a ton of that really, but I would say it's like a little bit like the clove bubblegum, but mostly floral. And then
right, because when it was a base beer pre-additions, it was we didn't have that big explosion of traditional Saison flavor.
Yeah.
Once we started to dose it with our flavor, our flavorings, we noticed that it became a whole new thing that was not just traditional classic Saison-esque flavors, which the lavender is a delicate, lovely flavor that comes through. Yeah
in the actual the beer as well, but it's like you're right, delicate lavender is the key word here, because it's not, because people think lavender like I'm drinking the big like literal flower beer, but it's not. Super subtle. I've never seen butterfly pea flower used in like a farmhouse before as well, so that's super. I feel like I don't see it so much. It was popping for a bit, so it's nice to see it again, because I think it's cool as hell. It's a natural way to make a beer sort of fun and funky, and you said, you put in this beautiful glass bottle so that people could see, which is great.
It looks good on the shelf.
Well, you know what? Like it's part of a sales tactic, right? Like it looks sexy, and it helps move the product. Yeah,
look, totally makes sense. And this was obviously the first time you've done anything like this.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Anything with fruit, anything with
in-house. This in-house,
This has been the most complex, shall we say, in terms of experimental. Yeah,
we do it differently, I think.
Yeah.
Next time.
Yeah. We're gonna tweak a few things and make sure that we get this guy a little more bright in terms of blueberry flavor, as well as lavender. I mean, I'm kind of happy with the lavender, but I think the blueberry
strong lavender side, yeah.
we could do. Yeah, I think we could do the blueberry a little more.
Yeah, it's like super subtle, like it's there, but it's like kind of in the back part of the palate.
Well,
but it comes to
what I found with this one is that the bubblegum clove, like all the yeasty flavors really were strong on this one. So there was a lot. It was hard to hide that Saison forwardness in this one. It was very strong. Yeah, I found it. What do you think?
Yeah, no, and naturally maturing and conditioning helps precipitate all that out. So naturally, I added a little bit of biofine clear, did some scrubbing.
Yeah.
And then we did have to cold crash for a couple, almost 2 weeks more.
Yeah.
Okay.
With the biofine to help drop out all those compounds.
Right. I'm getting in and I find this really fun about beer is like the burps afterwards. There's an interesting flavor happening in the burps that I can't put my finger on. Do you know what I'm talking about? You know, if you have like a big dry hopped IPA and you get like tropical fruit through your nose. So I just noticed it now and I'm like, what is that? And it's different to the flavors that are on the nose and in the body itself, because the body's quite light. Like I think that's what you guys are saying. The blueberry's a little chill. It's all the flavors are there, but it's very delicate overall.
Right. Yeah.
What am I burping up?
This was a 50-50 split water-wise. Not that might play into the big picture. You know, for the discerning drinker, it's hard to tell the difference. Me personally, sometimes it's, but I find I find a balance, like making for certain styles, soft water or moderately soft water really allows certain elements to come through a lot better versus if you have, Burton upon Trent style water, Gotcha. So anyway, I really,
it's got some interesting, there's some interesting stuff going on here for sure.
And I think if we were maybe to do it again, we might do a co-pitch. We might use a Saison yeast as well as a neutral American ale yeast to help just sort of create a balance that's more familiar for what people are drinking. Right? Because, Saisons, sure, a lot of people love them, but a lot of people are like, whoa, there's a lot going on here. I'd rather have a lager. But perhaps, it's just trial and error, experimentation, learning what finds out right. And but no, I love co-pitching yeasts, and maybe that'll be on the cards for the next one. I don't know.
I like that. Hey, keep playing around with them. These beers. So you can you only brew like one at a time? Is that what it is? Because you're talking about the uni barrel system or whatever. So it's like, can you have do you have a brew house and then multiple fermenters where you can have a bunch of stuff going? Solar, yeah, okay.
Oh yeah.
Are you trying to ramp it up, or are you just doing it slowly?
Right. So there's three fermenters right now.
/ uni tanks.
Yep. Exactly. So when I first started, I was doing it from what I've learned, from what I know, from all my what I picked up. Where I was doing obviously a transfer. I was having a dedicated bright tank. But when you have 3 tanks, that just takes up space, right? So I did a deep dive into how to properly brew beer uni-tank style. And meaning we have 3 fermenters, aka bright tanks. But thankfully, we are able to use that and then also drop yeast as much as possible, scrub when needed, and then transfer packaged kegs and carbonate in kegs. So
Gotcha.
It works for us so far. The Canadian Haze, the Sauvignon Blonde, the Coffee Truck Stout, all the beers we're drinking tonight are brewed uni-tank style. Yeah. And these fermenters, the fermenters Phil got are fully outfitted. There's 6 tri-clamp accessible ports at multiple points in the tank. There's 2 thermal wells, and then a 2-stage glycol jacket. So for that size, you really got it. They are, there's 1 blow-off arm. That's no worry. But these tanks are so accessible. But unitank brewing is something I have had to learn a lot about how to do properly.
We're experimenting. Like it's pure hard ass experimenting, man. Straight up.
Because the first brew, I was doing transfers, I was doing bright tank carbonation, and we were losing volume. Beers were great, but we're losing. So that's true. The goal, and then these beers are of course, it's a learning. They're turning out, as okay, great, if I can say, and we're learning more. So,
it's lots of improvements to come, but it's something. It's out there. It's solar brewed, and innovation. Awesome. It's just innovation comes with trial and error, and that comes with what we're living right now, I guess, and it's just a constant learning experience that never stops.
Two 5,500 watt ovens in each the HLT and the kettle, and it's interesting because you have convection versus radiation inside the tank, right? You have all these different heat exposure when it comes to wort, and this is something I had to learn about regarding how it's going to change the flavor of the beer. And the big takeaway, I'll keep it short, is that when it comes to electric brewing, you don't have that high heat from the bottom of a kettle in with propane or gas that produces more Maillard reactions than an electric element. So in the end, the general takeaway is you have a cleaner beer. Not cleaner, but you have a wort that doesn't have. Think of it like toast, right? Like imagine toast on the lowest setting. And that bodes very well for things such as light summer lagers, right? So that's something I want to maybe.
That's a blonde, though.
Yeah, light summer, pale, all things, and lagers might not be out of the cards. We all know Quake.
Make it happen.
Quite, yeah, it could be.
We talked about that,
yeah. It could be the way to produce pseudo lagers, but for pale beers, electric elements do tend to produce a less darker, cleaner flavor because of the fact that they don't have that high heat convection current as opposed to radiation versus electric elements. So
fascinating.
Yeah.
I love it. So then, so these beers, people have only been access to them since the beginning of the year in the tap room. How's it all been as far as the response? Because obviously people knew you were a solar place already, but the beers that they were drinking, were coming from the contracting side, which is your canned stuff, which we can touch on some of the styles that you're doing. How has the response been to the solar stuff from the crowd?
So the response has been good. People are excited about how experimental we are. They're also excited about how we are committed to at least 80% plus Canadian ingredients. So that's resonating really well right now due to the situation we're in with our neighbors. So it's resonating well. I will be honest with you and say that not enough people know about this. We have it in the tap room here, but people are just kind of more focused on our typical mainstays. And they're opening up to our new styles that we're doing here, but it's still kind of so new that it hasn't really hit people yet. So some of our focuses in the near future are doing more farmers markets, going up to Ottawa, doing the big markets there, going up to Kingston, trying to get the Solar Beer project out to the people, in front of people, not just in the tap room, but take it further than that. So I would say it's well received. People are excited about the Ontario Canadian local thing, but not enough people know about it. It's still so new, and we've been so focused on our core stuff because that's what pays the bills, straight up.
Makes sense.
So
can you get these out Are you aiming to get these to like some sort of distro licensees, anything like that, or are you trying to keep the solar stuff like, hey, you have to come here?
Well, so the solar stuff is obviously small batch. We're talking 300 to 350 finished liters. So we'll tap a bunch of kegs in house. We would love to get into small little bottle shops, that kind of thing. I think our approach. We also have a satellite location. We've got a beer garden in Prescott, Ontario, which is a half hour east of here, where we move beer there as well in the summertime. So we try to focus on that, and I think our approach is to really, try a new farmers markets, maybe do some online stuff. I'm working with a local marketing guy here who's a friend of mine to try and push this stuff online. We would love to work with bottle shops, don't get me wrong, but it is small batch. So
Not practical.
Not at the minute. We're learning, and we're honestly trying to figure it out straight up. Like we're kind of trying different angles, trying to figure it out. The easiest approach right now is to sell it in-house, of course. Yeah. Because we're here and it's where we make it in our other location. But this product is a little bit different, right? It's not a like we try to premiumize a little bit. We can't sell this for like a stupid low price. Our cost of production is obviously higher, hence the stubbies, hence the premiumization that we're trying to go for. So I think we want to get it in front of the hipsters, the eco people, the sustainable minded people. And in our area, we're in a village of about 400 people. So respectfully, like it's just not resonating super, super well with the locals per se. Okay. But a lot of our customers are tourists from Quebec, even Europeans, and also people from Toronto, Ottawa. We're right off the 401 highway. It's a 2-minute stopover off the 401. So that's been going over well. But locally, of course, it's tough, which is okay. But
yeah. It definitely sounds like a fun, like with the Quebec. I know the Quebec folks love Prince Edward County, so that would make sense that they'd come through on the way there or make the stopover or whatever. Totally, and it's not too far. We drove from Montreal to Toronto 100 billion times, and I always seen Mallorytown on the signs, but I never went. I didn't really know what it was, but I'm familiar with where it is for the most part. But yeah, it makes sense that it's something that's going to sort of grow over time. You got to kind of like get that word out. And you're right. Like the eco folks are probably, you can get out to beer nerds as well. And like just people who want to do something fun, but I like that idea. I feel like those would probably be your first kind of like brand advocates that would really be like, hey, look what these guys are doing. Like they, really thugging it out. Like, the grid's right there. They're off it. Like that's pretty cool. And that would resonate, I think, heavily with, those groups. Have you been able to tap into that? I imagine to a degree.
You mean into the
eco, whatever. I don't even know what you call them. Just people who are passionate about that type of stuff.
For sure. I think like when people ask me like, what's the payback on solar? My answer is it's not as simple as like saving money on our energy bills. It's actually part of who we are as a business and part of our identity, and it's also part of like how we market ourselves, how we differentiate in the market. So the calculation is not just, we're saving X amount of power and the payback is 25 years. No, it's like we get customers because we're off the grid. People come here because they want to know more about how we run the business and how we make beer and how we do what we do, because we're the first one in Canada. So yeah, I mean, it helps our business out for sure. We also had a documentary done on us in French actually a few years ago with TVA from Quebec. And I'm French speaking, so it was perfect, man. It was great. I spoke French, and it was. I mean, I'm not perfectly. I'm bilingual, but I'm not perfect. But I mean, I speak French, so it was that was good. And a lot of the French folks came down. I think it reached 500,000 people. But no, like we're at the highway, and it says ArBrū Solar Brewery. So people are like, what the hell is that? Let's go check it out. So we're in the middle of friggin' nowhere, but we keep it together, man. Like we do get some volume through here, and I think it's because we're solar powered. That's people are curious to a certain degree. So it's
No, it makes sense. Okay, I love that. So then the core brand, just to maybe round it out for folks. So obviously the solar stuff is new, fun, experimental. I mean, like this is experimental, but I mean the blonde not so much. Is stuff that anybody can enjoy. Correct. as opposed to you have to be into weird shit to enjoy it. Your the stuff that's in cans is currently being brewed elsewhere. Could you maybe just like talk through what you guys are doing on that side, so that people, because obviously some of these, they're such small batches that maybe someone hears this pod 6 months later and they can't get this particular, or any of the beers that we're drinking now. There will be different beers, but it's likely that they'll still be able to get your more core brand. So do you want to maybe just talk us through those?
Yeah, so we produce approachable beers. So we've got, your light lager, which is our best seller because that's just what moves, especially locally. The local folk, they're drinking Coors Light, they're drinking Molson Canadian. The light lager moves. That's what they want. So we produce that. We've also got another blonde. It's a very approachable, easy drinking blonde. It's called the Summer Blonde. So it moves well.
I did see that on the. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we've also got a Mexican cerveza that we produce offsite as well, which is very summery and easy drinking, refreshing, bodes really well in the summertime. And then we've also got our amber, which is sort of, a mid-range beer that's just super approachable and also, does well in the fall and winter season. Notes of caramel toast, that kind of thing. That seems to do well. And then we've got our New England IPA, our Days in a Haze, which is probably one of our best sellers. We do, and that one also we produce offsite.
Okay, and so that's what four core brands that are
5 there that I said, yeah.
Okay, that are essentially year round.
Correct.
Okay.
It doesn't mean that we don't do some other ones offsite here and there in smaller amounts, but typically those are the core that we do.
The core ones right there. Okay, so I'm just on the Instagram right now, just checking for those. Okay, so that's pretty sick. So then people are able to access, you know what? There is those beers regularly. There were 2 other things. I'm going to pull up the actual website. I just saw something I wanted to that I noticed earlier that I wanted to talk about. I saw that there's 2 other. So there's the ArBrū brands on the website. There's a few other different ones that maybe are more one-offs, like the West Coast, the Belgian wheat. Mexican lager. Yep. So those are one-offs. So that's session lager.
So yeah, the Belgian wheat is it's not a one-off, but it's not available all the time. It's mostly in the summertime. So that we produce that one offsite as well. Currently, doesn't mean it can't be produced in-house, but at the current moment, it is produced offsite, and that is more of a seasonal one. And the West Coast, honestly, wasn't doing super well. Gotcha. So we've kind of had it, and it's kind of faded out, and we're really pushing the New England IPA, the Days in a Haze. That one just is an all-around winner, heavy hitter, just crushes it.
Okay, so then the other stuff here, that makes sense. The ones that I thought were extra interesting, the non-alcoholic stuff, and also the sparkling water that you guys are doing.
Yeah, man. So
speak to that.
I'd be happy to. So my vision for ArBrū, it started off with beer, and obviously we're seeing the trend moving towards non-alcoholic beverages, including beer. So, my goal in my brain is I want ArBrū to become not just a brewery, but a beverage company. That is my long-term goal. So obviously focus on the beers, but also dabble in non-alcoholic beers as well, because that's where the trends are going. We're seeing double-digit compounded annual growth rates in non-alcoholic beers. So for us, it's just it just makes sense to play there a little bit, or to dabble in it, with the focus on alcoholic beverages, of course. But we are playing around there as well. We produced the ArBrū blonde, and we'd like to do more in the future. We're looking at doing IPAs and that kind of thing. As you may know, non-alcoholic beer is a whole different science, and it's to a certain degree. There's pasteurization involved, different yeast strains. It's tricky, man. It's tricky.
It's a tough one. Yeah,
it's tricky. Yeah. We like the no tax aspect. I do as a business person. Obviously, we don't sell as much, but we're seeing a lot of demand for that. In our area, truthfully, people are looking for low and no alcohol more and more. So that's part of our future plans, is to do more of that. And then we've got Mosh. That's we're playing around. We're trying to imitate Liquid Death to a certain degree with that. And it's just a sparkling water beverage, simple as that, with sort of an energy drink sort of brand vibe to it. And
I can see that for sure.
And that's just me playing around with not just beer. Like I love beer, but I also, why not try different things? And
Sure.
I think for me it started when I was following a Quebec influencer for beer, and he did a story on, hey, like breweries, you have all this equipment, you know, and Liquid Death is such a big brand in the US, you know, the multi-billion-dollar company doing just water and sparkling waters, and they're getting into different stuff now. But he says, you know, breweries could easily pivot to doing, you know, more than just beer. And I was like, shit, man, that's a cool idea. And I just kind of went for it. And that's just us kind of playing around, just testing the waters, trying to produce something different.
Is that old brew, or I don't know if brew's the right word, is that made in-house? Or is that outsourced?
No. So Mosh, so I'll start with Sober. Sober was made off-site because the equipment,
It'd have to be, of course.
pasteurization.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean we wouldn't try something in the future in-house. We've talked about it.
Yeah. Might give it a go.
But it's, as you know, it requires equipment that we just don't have.
And if you don't have a dedicated draft line, you're asking for trouble, all that stuff.
Yeah, we want to do it right.
That's a good point.
We don't want re-fermentation, all that kind of stuff. So it'd be responsible to do it off-site, but doesn't mean we won't dabble in it, trying something in bottles potentially. Then Mosh was done off-site. We dealt with basically someone who has they have water from a spring, like it's spring water, and they have their own bottling facility. And so they produced it for us, and they had not reverse osmosis, but they had ozone. They could ozone the water.
Okay.
That would kill all the bacteria. So they had the facilities for it. For us, it was more of like a pilot project. Like SoBrew is sort of a pilot brand, and Mosh is sort of also a pilot brand. And I'm a bit of a crazy guy. Like I love trying. I love graphic design and the idea of creating brands. I'm very creative. I'm not like the mad scientist like Mitch when it comes to producing it, but I love creating brands and just trying different things. And that's just an attempt on my end trying to do that.
Yeah.
Amazing. And how's that all been? How's that go for the folks who are coming through? Like, if people are loving those two, is it they're strong movers, or is it where's that sitting right now?
Yeah, so Sober did fairly well. We're out of it now, but you know, it did quite well. It's not obviously as good as our alcoholic beverages, but up there. Like we sold it all. We did I think
good.
2,000 liters. It's all gone within a year. I mean, for us, we're a small little craft brewery here in Mallorytown. For us, we're happy with that. In terms of Mosh, that's been a little bit slower. I find myself giving a lot of those cans to friends and family, but we do sell it on site. Don't get me wrong, but we're focused on the beer here. And I just haven't. I've got baby coming on the way. I just got married, so I haven't focused as much on pushing that specific brand off. Thanks, brother. I appreciate that. So yeah, we're just we sell it in house, and it moves. It gently moves, but it's not like a heavy hitter like the other stuff. But we sell it. If that makes sense.
Okay. I love it when breweries have those things. I drink them shits all the time, like sparkling waters. Yeah, they're the best, huh? And I like it. It's even cooler if you're going somewhere and the brewery, the business has their own brand. I think that's extra cool, and just like another kind of element to it, which is I don't know, just fun, and gives you some fun to drink in between as well, to space things out. So it's cool that you guys got that. So just something I noticed earlier that I thought was cool that you had those two different things alongside everything else. So I love it. How do you guys feel about hitting that stout?
Oh,
feeling great about it. So this bottle is this bottle's a bit warm. Should we get a cold one, maybe? Yeah, Mitch will go grab a cold one, but yeah, we're stoked about it. Yeah.
Perfect. So let me grab this right now. This is obviously the first batch of the stout too.
Certainly is. Yes, absolutely.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So we have this bad boy right here, the Coffee Truck Latte Stout at. I'll have to bring it around. What's the ABV? 8%. Another big banger. Got a bit of coffee and lactose in this bad boy, eh?
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's what I'm
lots
about.
of lactose.
Oh yeah. Hence Coffee Truck Latte.
I told Mitch, we tasted it. I said, add more. Fill it with lactose,
Keep it going. Hey, you never have too much lactose. The okay.
Never.
Okay. What's the coffee that you used on this? Do you know the?
Yeah. So actually, my wife owns a. So shout out to Brown Bag Coffee Roasters outside of Ottawa, actually in Gatineau on the Quebec side. So my wife owns
no shit. They work with our friends Sankey and Baron and stuff. I met them. They had a food truck there like a coffee truck at one of
shit.
their events we were there at. We was chatting to them. They're helping me with
Okay. So
pour over recipes.
So
Okay, that's awesome.
well, so my wife bought that coffee truck. So it's a collab with my
shit.
wife's coffee business. Yeah.
So she started the roastery, the Brown Bag.
So sorry, I should mention. So she buys the beans from the roaster, Brown Bag Coffee Roasters, but she owns the coffee truck, and it's just sort of like I got the beans from her, so I call it the coffee truck latte stout essentially. So it's a collab between her.
Sense.
Even though the collab should probably be with the Brown Bag Coffee Roasters. She's my wife, so I was like, let's do it.
Yeah. Hey man, I'm with it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
What's the name? The truck is called the Brown Bag Truck. Is that right?
Actually, so Brown Bag Coffee Roasters is simply the name of the roaster, and her mobile coffee business is called The Coffee Truck.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Instagram The Coffee Truck.
Okay, great to know. That's
All
awesome.
right, guys, here we go. This is the.
Oh,
That's cracking, man.
This is probably one of my favorites at the moment.
Yeah, this one's
sweet.
now okay. So this is once again 8% stout. Do you know what kind of beans they are? Not that it really matters, but
Yes. So
you mean the coffee beans? Oh,
Yeah.
Well, it's from
Guatemala.
it's
Guatemala.
Oh,
Actually, it's
okay,
not. You know what? We use Guatemalan beans with also some cold brew, and the cold brew. I couldn't tell you the cold brew is from.
Over the years, when it comes to making coffee beers, the things I've just noticed is that some of the best coffee stouts employ cold brew. That's
Really?
kind of the big thing. Just because, yes, I mean, not to say that good ones aren't, but sure you can throw whole beans, ground beans, and all that, but when you do mix in a cold brew that has been, given the proper treatment regarding stability and packaging, it yields a flavor that you really can't beat with beans, because beans can just be a little more
Right.
strong.
The cold
and
brew
whatnot.
hits a little harder.
Yeah, because it just like when you, let's say, let oolong tea sit for 24 hours, you just get pure alkaloids. You don't get any of the multitude of other compounds that contribute to bitterness. So cold brew is, I think, is one of the really great ways to make a coffee stout.
How much cold brew are you adding?
We added
Is it a whole bag?
Yeah, the whole bag.
Is it
Whatever that was.
20 liters of it?
Yep. 20, I can go look at the brew sheet here.
No,
but-
it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, but it was
yeah.
20 liters or so, if not more.
This is a 350 liter batch, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, 350 out of this, and there's also lactose, just to give it some body.
Yeah.
The lactose took we did do obviously a kettle addition, but then we noticed, okay, because I was a bit modest about how much lactose to add, just because I didn't want something that goes down like syrup. So then we ended up adding more lactose in the fermenter, all properly heat treated, chilled and whatnot, making sure it congealed properly. But no, when it comes to stouts, I'm a big proponent of using Carafa Special Type 3, because it doesn't give you, because it's a dehusked malt, right? And so unlike chocolate malt or black malt or patent malt, you have the full barley kernel, and when you use too much of it, it can be bitter and acrid and toasty, like burnt toasty. So
Big time.
yeah, and also I do a little technique where when you have the mash, you, rather than just putting all your grains in the mash, dark, roasted, whatnot, when it comes time to sparge and runoff, I take the dark 400 lava bond grains and just steep it in a muslin bag. It's a common practice, but
So it's whole. So it's whole beans, or it's ground in any, or at least, or crushed.
okay.
This is ground. This is ground.
So we did
Grounded.
ground beans, we did cold brew, and then for the mash, I tried out a few different ways to add in dark roasted grains, so that you don't pull out all those big, dark, acrid, toasty flavors.
Gotcha.
So that's something I started doing 2 years ago, and I find that it really helps making sure that the stout isn't too like toasty, like burnt toasty. But
Gotcha.
yeah, and so it's just something, and it's a pretty complex grain bill because it's a stout. Why not, right? Because there's so much complexity. Yes, you can get you can get muddled if you go 7, 8, 9, 10 malts. You can get really, really, you won't tell the difference.
But again, this is mainly the base malt is again Mississippi mills,
Right.
So we're over 80% Ontario. Well, Ontario ingredients, but the base malt is all Ontario on this one is again. So
I love it. Okay, amazing. This is great, man. So this is 8%, yeah?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't taste 8%. Like, you've done a good
No,
job.
it doesn't. It doesn't. Yeah.
This is dangerous. Yeah, great body. I feel like it's like definitely you stayed away from the syrupy side of things, so you're safe there.
Right.
You achieve that. The coffee hits right, and I definitely very much agreed that cold brew is a fantastic way to introduce coffee into beer. I think it's great. And this tastes like cold brew. Like, it's not espresso, it's cold brew, which is very cool. The lactose is just at the right point. The body's quite light given the ABV and the lactose. This one works. I would probably say this would be my favorite of the night. This is really good stuff.
Cool. Good to hear.
When did this one drop?
Ooh, when did we do that one?
So this was early June, late May.
I can confirm right now. Hold up.
Early June, late May. And
that's accurate.
Yeah, I think so. And then so I love big boozy imperial stouts. Bourbon County Stout.
Bang.
All those, sometimes stouts that taste like oil, right? So when it comes to making stouts, I really like to dive deep into what works. There's 7 specialty malts in this, and there's some crystal malt, Crystal 60. There's also craft special type 2 and 3, the D Huss malt. There's a little bit of Munich malt, well, a little bit, about 20%, and then there's base malt, and then a smidge of. So there's a bit of debate in the forum world regarding using oats in a big boozy stout, and some people are for it, some people are against it, because too much oats can lead to that sort of, I guess, it's too far gone grainy, if that means anything. So I steer clear of using too much oats. This is 5% of the grist, and but we have a fair amount of malts going into this. So 6, 7. I think any more than that, and you're never going to tell the difference. The hops, obviously, it's a stout. You're looking at just bitterness and a little splash of Saaz at the end. But what makes this beer is the coffee and the lactose, courtesy of
coffee truck.
The coffee truck. Exactly.
Well, brown bag coffee roasters as well. Shout out to them too.
Yeah.
Yes,
let's be honest.
Big time. Yeah, that's super fun, boys. I like this. This is a great one. Now, is this the first? Obviously, this is the first solar stout. Have you guys done stouts on the other side before?
Yes, we have. Okay. We've done chocolate stout, which was actually well received, quite well received.
Nice.
But since then, this is the first one on the
first one.
How's it going
with the solo? Right, I love it. How this is a type of beer. Personally, I'll drink this year round. Like, normally Wednesdays is when I drink. Like what you were talking about, Mitch. All the barrel aged stuff, because otherwise you gotta like put a night aside for it, or you just don't get to it because it's too hard. How is this received? Yeah, it's the best. How has this been received as far as like in the middle of summer? Because, like I said, I feel like all the 3 of us are loving drinking this. I don't think it matters, but I know that is I've heard from folks that's the thing. How's it gone?
Sure. So I will say this: a lot of, I think, so it's well received right off the bat for sure. I think a lot of other breweries within our area, I would say an hour and a half radius, are not typically, for the most part, not all of them, but a lot of them are not really doing stouts in the summertime. And I think a lot of people appreciate the fact that we do have a stout that's, you know, off season, if you will. So it's been well received. Our chocolate stout was that was so well received, and a lot of people are grateful that they're like, hey man, like we've been to breweries, like we don't really find like stouts in the summertime as much. Like we're stoked that you guys have one. So it's been well received. I mean, within reason, of course. Like it is summertime, it's hot as shit. Like people want this, like the blondes, the lagers, the cerveza, like all that stuff, right?
Totally.
But it's good, man. Like it's been well received for the most part, I would say.
Love to hear that. The other thing I forgot to ask, and you might have said this, excuse me if you didn't, the solar beers, are they available on draft at the brewery?
Yes.
They are too. Sick. Cool. So people can like do a pour of this. They are able to get some different sizes as opposed to the big bottle as well.
Absolutely. So like, yeah, we actually package off the kegs typically. So they're immediately
cool.
packaged off the keg, depending, but typically that's how we do it.
Right. Would it just be, what would that depend on, like sort of just demand type of thing?
Well, I think we started off, we packaged off the tank, like into like cans and actually initially we started with cans. They were like, cans is not ideal.
Yeah, we got to work on this.
It's just, I think it's easier just to go right into kegs, throw it on tap right away, and then figure out later how many bottles we want to produce. At least it's in kegs, ready to go. Throw it in the cold room, and then let's figure out tomorrow how many bottles we want to do typically.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Yeah, man. Like it's just, it's a mini bright tank, you know?
Yeah, that's it too.
It's a good point. It's just, but when you're working with, single and double head fillers, when you have the ability to just clear a tank, then and put it in kegs, use the quick carb peristaltic to pump,
the quick carb, that's right.
You're able to have essentially a mini bright tank ready to go, ready to package.
That's right. Which
you can package off of anything, a counter pressure filler, yada yada yada. So it frees up a tank. Every now and then we'll throw a stone in a tank, just to help in terms of being able to package when you're in a pinch, or also, let's say we're getting a little funky and we had fruit, we had all these different syrups, extracts, yada, and then yes, it's advantageous to fill from the tank. But right now we are packaging from kegs. Yeah.
Dope. When you said throw a stone, what does that mean?
Oh, carbonation stone.
At the tank level.
Yeah, these tanks have a track-down port for a carbonation stone.
I've never heard of that. What is it?
Yeah. Well, we got to show you, but we can show you. But all these fermenters are outfitted with it's a little beside the racking cane, and I'm sure you know a racking cane.
I remember that from homebrew days. Yeah.
Yeah, the transfer cane. There's a track-down port where you can put in a
carbonation stone.
A
standard stone that you use to carbonate within tank.
Which is just a sintered stone that's been sandblasted, so it produces these micro bubbles. And then from that, you inject CO2 at a certain flow rate and pressure, monitor pressure.
But it's just a standard carbonation stone that you have in any tank. That's what he's saying, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's a carbonation stone.
At the tank level instead of packaging it into kegs and then carbonating it with a quick carbonation system.
We found at this scale.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
It does. I just didn't know that. I don't know why. No one's ever, in 10 years of putting and doing home brews and all the reviews, I've never heard of a carbonation stone.
Interesting. Yeah. No, that's.
Well,
there's so many.
Is that what you would call it, or it's called a carbonation?
It's a stone, but some people use it for oxygenation. Some people Some people use it for carbonation. Some people use it for off gassing. It has a lot of utility. But these tanks are really outfitted to act as fermenters and uni tanks. So they are really accessible tanks, which is great.
Okay, I googled it, and it looks like a little stick with a kind of like a.
Yep, you bet.
I don't even know how to describe it. Just like a rough surface.
Exactly.
Correct. Exactly that. It's almost like an aquarium, the little stone in the aquarium.
It's so
bubbles in the
interesting.
Oh,
And it produces-
okay. Maybe just no one talks about it because it's just such like it's just like, I don't know, maybe not super interesting and just no one's mentioned it before.
Oh, yeah. It's so, and it, like, we're talking 0.5 micron, 2 micron,
Like
pores.
bubbles. Right.
Exactly.
Oh, I
And
see.
so
Which
naturally,
creates-
thanks to Mr. Henry's law, like the smaller the bubbles, the better the dilution.
Surface area,
It's it's great. And then so much equipment
Look at that.
used, yeah.
And does every brewery use this? Is this like super
Oh
common?
man, pretty much.
Super common, yeah.
So,
Shit. I'm gonna start asking people about it.
100%.
Like you need
The way that we do it's
carbonation
probably
cell.
the way that we do it's probably different actually.
Yeah. Well,
Again, we're experimental, we're weird,
Right.
we're small
Waller
scale, we
Street,
fuck around and find out.
Yeah. There are.
Is there any way to go?
You know how the landscape is these days. There's so much brewing technology out there.
That's
The
true.
Fizz Whiz.
Yeah. Fizz Whiz, yeah.
Blickman does incredible different new age technology, but oh gosh, there's all these different. There's static mixers, Venturi injectors, like Venturi injectors. Yeah, there's so much cool brewing technology right now.
Mitch is the brewing nerd.
Yeah,
Can you tell?
I can geek out a little too much.
I respect it. I know there's going to be a lot of people watching and listening who absolutely know what the hell you're talking about. So it's no, that's awesome. Okay, that's really fun. Look, there you go. We're learning something. So okay, that is sick. The other thing I wanted to bring up as well, that obviously we're not going to drink this tonight, but I think this is super sick. And you guys were talking off air briefly, and one of the things that you guys that's on your website, it's on your social, is that you're a dog friendly brewery, which I think is, I don't know, as a dog owner, my dog's been to more breweries than most humans, and we would prefer to go to a place that is welcoming to him, and it's important to us. And breweries are often quite welcoming. They often, bring over a bowl or something like that. They might have some snacks or something available, but this is like next level. So you guys have created this little bad boy, Hoppy Dog, what is this? It's a bone broth flavored spring water for dogs, which is, and it's electrolytes obviously for bone broth. So could you guys, first of all, this is fucking awesome. I love that you do this. This is so cool. I can't wait to give this to the little guy. Is this supposed to be cold, or you give it to him at like room temperature?
You know what? It could be at room temperature. It does not have to be cold.
Because it's a dog. He doesn't give a shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Hell yeah.
Okay. Tell me about it. It's sick. What's the deal?
Yeah,
yeah.
Well, let's get into it. So you know what? It's Hoppy Dog is essentially an extension of what we already have. We're passionate about becoming a beverage company for humans, but what about dogs? Like, why not dogs? Like, why not? Why not differentiate in the market? Do something crazy, man. So humans can enjoy a cold beverage or whatever, a beverage. Why can't dogs have that beverage as well? So it started with an idea. I was working at our other location, and someone was like, "Hey, what about a drink for dogs?" And I was like, "Shit, man, that's a good idea." And I was like, "Hey, what if we called it like Happy?" I started off with like Happy Dog, and then that was taken. So I was like, Hoppy Dog, play on beer, right? And then it just stuck. It was available. The name was availably registered, so I registered it. And it's like, why not have a drink for dogs? We worked with the facility that's currently making our sparkling water under Mosh. So we use the same facility to produce this beverage. And again, it's experimental. It's a trial, and it's, we did a small batch of it, a small run. It's a pilot run. And we have a lot of dogs that come through here. And so we sell dog treats, but we never had a dog beverage. So I was like, let's go. Let's try it out. And so it's basically beef bone broth extracts infused into spring water. Yeah. And
okay, I want to ask what it meant, because it said bean broth flavor. So the extract, is it almost like is it like the actual extract, like vanilla extract, or is it like those like powdered bone broth or something like that?
It is a liquid form, but it's more like the natural flavors that come from the beef bone broth.
Okay.
So like when you crack it, you smell it, it just reeks beef bone broth. So I will say this. So either your dog is going to love it or your dog is going to be confused. If your dog is confused, do not fret. Just like one of the strategies that works well is to freeze them into ice cubes, make them into solid form. Okay. The dogs go nuts for beef bone broth. Ice cubes go over super well if your dog is confused.
I've tried to feed him stuff like this before, and he hasn't. He's been confused and just not really gone for it.
Yeah, fair
so
enough,
I like the idea of that's such a smart idea.
But yeah, this is just like, again, it's a pilot batch. It's super small batch. It's the first iteration of a dog beverage. We're just using extracts. It's nothing fancy. We're using spring water that has natural electrolytes. All good. And that's just, it was just for fun. And because when dogs come in here, we actually offer them Hoppy Dog, and people bring their dog in and we just pour it in a bowl for them to try it out. And so, like I said, some dogs just go nuts for it, and other dogs are like, what the hell is this shit? I want to eat this, not drink this, right? So it's like, okay, let's freeze it. Like my wife's dog, he passed away now, but when he was alive, like he was kind of confused with the liquid, but we froze it into ice cubes. Fucking loved it, man. We went over super, super well.
So smart. I'm definitely going to try it. Particularly, obviously, we're balls deep in summer right now, so it's a nice little treat for them as well. Chuck it in their bowl, let them go nuts. Yeah, that's sick. I like that a lot, man. So this is so it's something that you guys are hoping to continue.
Well, again, like it's just like we're a beverage company, like and people love their dogs. It's obviously a category that like. It's a new category, beverages for dogs. Like dog treats and dog food is big, but why can we not have dog beverages as well? There's no reason why we can't do it, and we're hoping to become a pioneer in that category. I'm not gonna lie, like we're just experimenting. We're a small player, of course, but I mean we're giving it a shot, man, and we're selling it in our tap room, in our brew pub, and it's going over well. We haven't expanded and reached out really into other places so much, but it's super well received overall, and we'd love to push it further as we grow our business and expand the resources and all that. But it's just something fun for the dog, for the pup.
That's wicked. I could see like pet stores, like particularly like the like obviously like the mom and pop pet stores, but also there was one that was near us here that had like it was like a raw dog food store, which I'd never seen before.
Yeah,
so they have a lot of frozen stuff, and then they have like the dehydrated. They got a million different one of those, like the little raw, like not the frozen stuff, but like the ones that are in the containers, like chicken feet and shit like that. They had a million different things like that. Though I could see those places, this would go bonkers. I would imagine places.
Well,
like
I since COVID, I think a lot of people. It was a lonely time, so a lot of people like. Bought dogs, right? Yeah, pups. So and people love their dogs, man. And our slogan is like, your dog deserves a drink too. You're having a drink at night with the boys or with the girls, whatever. Why not have a dog, a tall boy for the pup? Tall boys for dogs. Let's go. So that's what it's all about, man. Yep. And it's experimental, and it's like, we were at the Canadian Pet Expo last winter, and we were pitching this product, and it's some people are like like a little bit skeptical about it, but I think it's a growing category, and we're just having fun, man. This product is not like, oh, we're trying to make all this money, and it's just like, no, man, we're having fun. We're experimenting, and we're all about being innovative at ArBrū, and this is an extension of our innovation.
Love it. I honestly here for it. I think it's fantastic, and it's cool that you guys are continuing to mess around, and I guess that's the whole ethos and sort of spirit of craft beer, like trying different shit, throwing something at the wall, see what sticks, doing stuff that works for you guys. Obviously, you're dedicated to the solar thing, which is amazing. You're into dogs, so you make a dog drink. It's all it's cool. It makes sense. It's like it's a fun brand. It sounds like a fun place to go and hang out and eat and drink, and
it's beautiful.
Like being dog friendly has increased our sales. Like we get customers, not all the customers, but like people will come here, they will drive out of their way because we are not local, like in a big city. Like we're a drive away. People will drive out just to bring their friggin' dog because they can and we allow it and we're friendly to it. And that's been good for our business. So it's just like, why not have a drink for dogs? Let's go.
I'm glad to hear you say that. I feel like I wish more businesses would do it. And I always think that it's like one or two misbehaved dogs go and turn people off. Whereas like people don't even know our dog is there. He's so quiet. He's so used to just sitting under a table and chilling.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, when people are resistant to dog stuff, I'm just like, I guess some idiot owners have gone and had their poorly behaved dog. And instead of leaving it at home where it probably should be, if it's a poorly behaved dog, they'll bring it out and fuck up the game for everybody else. And this kind of drives me nuts when like we've left places because they weren't dog friendly. And I'm like, that's in this economy. Like, businesses
I agree.
can't afford it, man. Like they can't if I was a hospitality owner, dude, you gotta be kidding me. You gotta bring all the children and dogs, like, and maybe even have a dog section for people who don't enjoy it. But I imagine if it's just, you have a 2-strike rule, be like, they do 2 different things. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to ask you to leave. So let that. But I feel like people just are too quick to cut it off, and to me, it just seems like a bad business principle. And I think that you guys' approach is much smarter.
We're very hungry. We're hungry for business, and dogs are part of the business, man. Like, they're like a little human with 4 legs.
Facts.
They're welcome here because, I mean, if your dog is loud and obnoxious, it's a different story. But overall, it's been a very positive experience. Overall, that's great. Really good, man.
I love that. I'm here for it. So that's a beautiful thing. Now, the only thing I can think tell me if we've missed anything, but one thing we didn't touch on was maybe the food program at the brewery, just to sort of let folks know the type of stuff that you guys are offering. We've gone pretty balls deep with the solar beers, with the other stuff, so people really got an idea of the beverages. But yeah, what's up with the food, fellas? Like,
totally. So it's kind of funny because when we originally started, there was like no conversation about food. It was going to be, beers. But then it's like, wait a minute. I realized that, hey, without food, you sort of limit yourself on how many pints you can sell. And that's what the money is. I'm a business guy, and if people can sit down, enjoy food, hang out, have a good experience, and have a beer or 2 or 3, they're going to drink more if they can eat something. So it was imperative that we would offer food. So our business model is, I'll be honest, is very simple, man. We do pizza and beer, but I think we do it right. Like we do nachos, pizza and beer, and we offer what's called it's pinzas. It's like a different style. It's like a flatbread style of pizza that we do here. Okay. And we've got all different kinds of pizzas. We've got your typical pepperoni, your 4 cheese. We've got your deluxe. We've got meat lovers. We've got your buffalo chicken. And every month we have a new feature pizza. We did a taco pizza. We have a beef brisket pizza. Nice. And that's what brings people in, man. Like, when you reinvent yourself every month, it gives people a reason to come visit you. And you need the food, man. The beer is good, obviously, but without the food, we would be out of business, straight up. If we didn't offer food and have the brew pub component where you can sit down, and we're essentially a restaurant, right? We're a brewery restaurant, and without that component, we'd be done, be over. We'd be out of business. So, but we keep it simple. We keep it really simple. We do pizza and beer. We do like pretzels, cheese stuffed pretzels, nachos. We offer like a few desserts, but it's basically pizza and beer. We try to do it well. We've got a wood-fired pizza oven outside that we use. Nice. So we do offer wood-fired pizza. I will say currently our oven outside is kind of broken. We are working on it, but typically you would come to ArBrū. If you're sitting on our patio, you'll watch the pizza cook make the pizzas in front of you in a wood-fired oven. Our oven's from Italy. Nice. It's state-of-the-art oven. I think our pizza offerings are pretty good. 4.9 out of 5 on Google.
They are very,
not to go out there. I'm not trying to brag. I'm just saying, you know what, man? Like,
high heat, you can't beat it. Yep.
I think with ArBrū, it's just like the beers are the beers, and like you like them or you don't like them. But the experience when you come see us is top notch. We offer really good service. Our servers they're really great. And when you come here, you know that you're gonna be well taken care of. So it goes beyond the beer, and it has to for us to stay alive. And so we try and offer an experience that's memorable. When you come here, expect a good time. That's all I can
love
say.
that. That's a beautiful thing. So then, to bring it on home, what's next for you guys? What are you working on next? What are you guys most excited about that's coming, in the next few months?
Well, so like I said, it's a great question. So we brought Mitch on.
Great question.
Yeah. We've brought Mitch on, in a more full-time capacity as the business is sort of expanding, is creating more revenue, is able to take on more staff, which is awesome, right? So
Nice.
we can now bring Mitch on in a more full-time capacity. So what you can expect from us is more refined, 100% Canadian or close to 100% Canadian beers with local ingredients. You can see more. So the Solar Beer Project brews coming out, different styles. You can expect more different events. We often have like trivia nights. We do wing night. We do festivals in the summer. We often have live music. We're always trying to do more of that. And I will say, actually, last year we did something called Sober Fest.
Okay.
Which is interesting. So we did basically a festival that was based around no alcohol, which, okay, like I know it's like kind of great turnout, man. Last year was the first year we did it. Really? It was a great turnout, live music. We did like kombucha. We had our ArBrū. We had a non-alcoholic cider from my dad's place. So we were doing like flights. So you can get a flight of 4, but it's non-alcoholic, and obviously non-alcoholic kombucha, cider, beer. And so this year we're just going to do that again and try and like make it even bigger. And last year was like a big success. And so we just want to do that again. And I think you can expect innovation from ArBrū, whether it's through different events, whether it's through our products. Expect innovation, expect potentially new locations in the next 12 months. We hope to expand to Gananoque. It's a neighboring town close to Kingston.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there used to be a brewery there. They went out of business, so we're looking to expand and keep growing, keep offering top-notch experiences with beer, but also beyond beer, with the food and the whole vibe and the way that you're treated when you come see us is sort of our focus. And innovation. What do you think, Mitch? Where are you at?
Yeah,
what do you think?
I think it's like the exploration of new products, but also outreach, finding naturally, but finding new outlets to sell ArBrū's great beer.
That's a good point.
And find a home for maybe, let's say, 3 or 4 beers that are mainstays that become sort of part of the rotation always. But I think growth is the that's the the end of the line right there. That's the planning, I think, and but from a brewing perspective, I'd love to try and find some styles that stick, because the burden is in, the burden of truth is in other people. I've kind of come to find it doesn't matter if I love a beer, Phil loves a beer sometimes.
Yep.
It matters if the customers love the beer.
It's business, baby.
So the burden of proof is always in the customers. So so that's something I really, really like to find. And Phil had a really good idea the other day about a electrolyte rice lager, and that got me thinking for a long time.
But also like lower calorie, better for you, approachable beer with electrolytes.
There might be, and that's intriguing. So
functional beer, I believe that
correct.
Category is called.
Yeah. And of course, creativity, but also creativity to a point where you find products or beers that stick around and
we
stay.
Need to sell our we need to sell beer, right? It's a business. And innovation is a big part of our DNA, but it has to make money. But we've set aside what we feel is a good amount of budget towards innovation. It's a priority for us. Sustainability is also a priority as well. So it's a balance of like innovation, sustainability, and all that at the same time, and making sure that we're paying our bills. But and then of course the non-alcoholic market side of things. It's growing, man.
So
for sure.
Phil and we went back and forth about ways to buttress water in this, well, not water, but essentially flavored non-alcoholic beverages that are that are flavorful.
Hey, we should mention to Craig that we did a maple sap sparkling water actually in the spring this year.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
It was delightful.
Just because we're in the country, man. There's trees everywhere, so we just fucking did it.
Is it when you take the maple water and you can kind of actually use that as the base for the?
Well, for the beer,
you can.
I've done that before a couple of years ago, but honestly, man,
just the sap, carbonated, just to offer it as a sparkling beverage.
Carbonated sap, drop the pH, is delicious. It is
so
it
good,
is.
man.
And then if you chalk it full of electrolytes, like ions, maybe there's something there. So
again, it's just us trying to do more than just beer, and you could argue that our focus is spread out. We can't help it, man. We are just wired this way. Right?
Yeah, it's so true, man. It's so true, Phil.
You got to go in the directions that interest you. So I mean, there's nothing wrong with dabbling in a whole bunch of things, and then you can see what works. And if something's really working, then you can probably focus more energy on that. But the more different things you try, you can see and be like, oh, we didn't really enjoy doing that, so then we're going to move on. I think that's the best way to do it, best approach.
And while still, operating a business that is profitable, that is sustainable in terms of financial stability as well. So it's been a journey, but we're here. We're definitely here to stay. We're here to stay. Things are moving in the right direction, and in 3 years we've grown to 2 locations.
Honestly,
last year.
Last week. I mean, I know the windstorm took it down, but the hop farm that you guys put up a couple years ago.
Oh, we also grow hops on site. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I've grown rhizomes. Obviously, this is not at that level, but
no.
Rhizomes are fun to grow, and I've done it for about 3 or 4 years. But you know how it is, right? You get 14 or 16 days during the year to harvest those, those flowers, the hop flowers. And if it rains, you're pushed back a day. During that, and pelletization is a whole.
Oh yeah, no,
anyway, I don't know.
And we're trying all kinds of stuff here. At the end of the day, we're trying everything, and
output, making more beer. That's the thing. Yeah.
The only thing I will say is with the solar beer project, we are somewhat, I will say, unfortunately, perhaps limited to how much beer we can produce. That we can produce with the sun, because the sun does what it does, and there's only so much energy that we can extract and harvest to produce beer. So with the current setup, we can only do about 3 barrels at a time, and doesn't mean we can't get to 5, 7, 10 barrels in the future, but that's kind of where we're at right now. And it's a start, right? It's a start, and it's, as a startup company, we bootstrapped this from the bottom up with we had the smallest budget, just started it from nothing. So we'll see what happens, but we'd love to, add more solar in the future and increase the batch size and get to a different spot. But it's extremely experimental and unconventional, and that's what we're all about. And that's it.
Love it. You guys summarized that perfectly. So then we'll bring this home. Stick around. We'll finish up off air. But thank you both for hanging out, taking the time, chatting through this tonight. Crushing the beers. This was super cool, guys. It's really cool to hear about what you guys are doing, and something completely unique and different, and that more people should know about. So hopefully that's what we achieved here this evening. Where can everybody find ArBrū in real life and online? Maybe just the locations as well for both of the beer garden and the brewery.
Yeah, so we've got 2 locations where you can buy our beers in person. We've got our location in Prescott, Ontario, where you can come see us Friday to Sunday. We offer pints and also cans to go and bottles. We've also got our main location. The mothership location is in Mallorytown, right off the 401 highway, ArBrū Solar Brewery. And we're open 6 days a week. We're only closed Tuesdays, and you can buy cans, have pints on draft, and also you can have our pizzas as well and enjoy a great experience. Otherwise, we have our website, arbrewbeer.com, where you can purchase our beers there online. And you can also follow us on Instagram, of course. Instagram, it's ArBrū Beer. And also, if you want to follow the Solar Beer Project, it's the Solar Beer Project on Instagram too. So thank you.
Amazing. Make sure I tag all of those as well when we do this. Beautiful. Boys, this is wicked. Thank you again for hanging out and taking the time. Stick around. I'll wrap it up and we'll chat off air. But folks, check out all of the everything that Phil just broke down there. Go visit. Eat the pizzas, check out the beer and enjoy, soak it up. We got a great summer. It's been pretty pumping. So I feel like it's you know, kind of the perfect time. Go to a solar brewery when the sun's shining. So, you know, we out here.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Doesn't get any better. Folks, thank you so much for watching and listening. If you enjoyed the episode, smash the thumbs up, hit subscribe below, hit that notification bell so you know when the new drops. Follow us everywhere at BAOS Podcast. Check out the long form audio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Give us 5 stars. Not for me, but for Phil and Mitch, for the glorious beer, for solar power. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace, y'all.